Hey guys, it's Tad again. Today we're getting dirty. So what we're doing is forming some beds over at a plot that it's been a old family plot, but it was actually the rows were running the other direction, and we just wanted to redo the layout of it. So we're forming beds over there and getting it ready to plant. What you see here is our compost that we use. We get it all from a local landscaping supply company. They give us a really good deal on it. It takes a little processing, but it's worth it because we get such a good deal on it. The biggest problem with it is, you can see there's some rocks and some chunks of stuff that aren't broken down all the way and that kind of thing. There's a little bit of trash in it. So we have to go through and get all that out of there. At first, I just had like big screens that were on a 2x4 frame, and we were just, because I got my compost when I first started at a buddy's dairy farm, and all his cows were in a feedlot, and whenever they'd scoop it up, they'd get some gravel that was underneath, and it'd just go in the big compost pile. So whenever I'd get it, it'd have a bunch of gravel in it. So whenever I first started out, I just had these big 2x4 frames with wire mesh in it, and you just set them over the wheelbarrow and scoop dirt into it and work it through the screen with your hands, and it was possibly the worst idea I ever had. It was super inefficient and took forever, and so I knew I had to come up with something else to, make sure I was getting good, clean, broken down compost in my garden. So I started doing a little thinking and a little research, and was thinking about these big operations, these big mining operations that you see, and they've got these great big trommels that sift out the big rocks and let the smaller stuff go through so they can find the gold. So we started thinking about how can we come up with something that was scaled down a lot from that. So me and a fabricator buddy came up with this thing right here, this Frankenstein contraption right here. All it is a concrete mixer on an old trailer we found, and this is a 55-gallon drum that we cut big sections out of and then welded the expanded metal on it. So the first one we tried to do it with a gas powered one, but we couldn't get the gear ratio right, and it was spinning way too fast, and it was just spinning all the dirt, it was flying everywhere, and so we just decided to go with this electric one, which spins a lot slower and it works a lot better. The only problem is we have to have power, and where we process all the dirt, we don't have power to it yet, so we have to use a generator. So there's that. But it works great, so we're gonna get started processing some dirt, and we'll show you how we do all that. So as you can see, we got our trailer filled up and hooked up to our homemade side-by-side. That was just for fun. We found a Jeep 4x4 real cheap and wanted something more like a little pickup truck, so we just cut the top off of it so we can easily get in and out of the back of it. It's easy for the dogs to jump in and out of, and it's something kids can learn to drive, riding around on the farm, whatever. But it works really good because it's four-wheel drive and it'll go pretty much anywhere we need it to on the farm, and hauls this little trailer around. And then all these buckets, they're just recycling cans that you usually find in big corporate buildings or whatever. But a friend had a whole bunch of them, and they just happened to fit perfectly in this trailer, and they work really good for, you know, walking out beds and spreading the compost. So we're gonna drive over to the old homestead site and start working on some beds over there. So we're over here at the original garden plot on the whole farm. This is over at my parents' farmstead where I grew up. But you can see what we're doing. Stephanie's putting some down in a bed that we already started forming that needed a little extra. But we've just driven all our stakes in there to get our rows and our pathways and our beds marked out. And we just take this string and move it from bed to bed as we're dumping dirt and get our beds formed. And looks like, I think we've got 11 beds that we got to do here, so it's going to take a little bit of work, but that's all right. So yeah, we're just going to get to work and get these beds formed up, and we'll see you guys in a bit. So we got all our dirt laid down in the garden. Now we're just gonna rake it out and flatten it out with our handy bed prep rake, who just coincidentally happens to be 30 inches wide like all our beds. Real convenient. So yeah, we're just gonna rake it out flat and move the strings and start on the next one. And there you go. There's how we start forming our beds. We do it like this for a couple reasons. Building on top of our native soil because our clay content is so high. We've had to amend a lot with, a lot of compost, just to get that loaminess in it, that the looseness to it. Now, we don't want to get too much of that just because the clay is what helps hold all the water. But there's just so much clay around here and so much rock, and it's just a lot easier to start building your beds on top of the native ground and let the root systems go down deep into that native soil. We till once a year, so it helps get it all mixed in and keep the clay content, mix some of it up on top. So yeah, that's how we get our bed started, and we're gonna move our string, put it on the next bed, and finish unloading the trailer. So as you can see, we got all our dirt laid, all our compost laid out. This is kind of our process for forming our beds. We'll repeat this process every year until we get the right consistency for our soil, and then after that, we'll just add real light layers of compost and amend it with pelletized chicken manure, or whatever for our nitrogen, and then get our soil samples sent off and see what they have to tell us, and if there's anything else that we need to amend with, whether it's calcium or magnesium or whatever, take their recommendations and run with it. So yeah, it's a little bit of work, but the end result is the best vegetables you can grow. So to me, it's worth the effort. All right, guys, till next time.